spiritually, I want the audience to dig into me through these podcasts. Sexually, I mean, metaphorically, of course.
You're dropping little clues for those who know, and that way
that I'm half a fag.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So you spent some time living in one of the gay capitals of the world. You are not gay.
Which one?
Rehoboth. Which one? You live in Portland and Rehoboth, Delaware.
I was like, I've lived in New York and LA, which both have they have gay areas.
Yes.
You know, but Rehoboth, absolutely. I used to get my hair cut on Baltimore Avenue. If you know Baltimore Avenue, if you know Rehoboth, I mean, that's the gay street.
What's your nickname for it?
Rehometh. Usually is what I call it.
So who was selling coke over there? Who was selling coke?
I mean, everybody. Well, there's one neighborhood. There's a lot of gated communities in that area. I learned a lot of things. Here's something that should help. Here's something that should help the revolution. By law, I believe in America, every gate code has to open with 9111111, and it eventually will open for emergencies. So enjoy your gating communities as the proletariat storms you, and they use the 911 secret code on the
every gated community.
Usually, a gated community must have that. Usually,
that's a good opening pickup line for the Marxist baddies.
That's what I mean. Hey,
just be like, the.
I was saying, I'm an accelerationist. That to me, I was like, oh yeah, of course I should say this. But Rehoboth, and you're probably aware of this, the gay mob is the most dangerous mob, because there's no women keeping anybody in check. It's just crazy dudes.
Helen of Troy.
Exactly. There's just dudes running rampant and doing whatever they want. So
yes,
it's it became very obvious to me, which is also where Hunter Biden hangs out there frequently. Did I ever tell you this? I mean, if we want to get into deep dive Delaware, Tim, I did get
this episode, I don't care. Whenever I bring a guest on, I don't give a fuck anything about them. I don't care what movie you're in. I don't care what song you made. I'm past that. If you promote my stuff, I'm kicking you off the group chat.
That would be... whenever I'm talking about art, I always use painting because it's the original art form. So that would be you having a painter on and then being like, I painted this. You see that?
Yeah, right.
Why would you want to talk about the art at this point?
We're painting Delaware in this podcast today. Your parents live there, and you live there from a time. Some of the Mass State Lottery scenes were actually filmed in Delaware, which you will find more information about that at the Mass State Lottery behind-the-scenes documentary that I'm currently working on for Loa's Rondo Bed. We got Tim Stabers here. Thank you for coming on the show. So
my pleasure, dude.
So Delaware stories, where could we go? Let's start with the greasy, the hot, the Hunter Biden. Let's go.
Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden and I both got our MacBook Pros repaired roughly at the same time at the same place, because mine was a 2011 MacBook, which that was a good year for MacBooks, but not early 2011, which mine the video card kept shorting out when I was making I used it for video. And when you bring it into the Apple store, which I'm sure you're familiar with, which is in the Christiana Mall. Yeah. And then they would direct you, if it wasn't under warranty, to this other place that was a certified repair shop, which is
like an iColor or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. And I remember seeing the guy. I mean, you can go watch when Tucker Carlson was on Fox News. That's when that whole thing happened. And I remember seeing the guy on the news. I'm like, I got my laptop repaired from the same guy as Hunter Biden. And I'm not going to say it was Hunter Biden when I was picking up my MacBook, but there was a gentleman about my height who, in my brain and my impressionistic memory of it's kind of a fuzzy memory, but I was like, he was about that age. He was definitely white, and he was about my height. And he didn't smile though, so he might not have got his new teeth. I remember He had his,
yeah, I know. I hate
those big pearly whites that he
hard.
had in those interviews with what's his name from Channel 5,
You
Callahan.
smell like pussy?
He didn't, but he was alone at the time. He might have been. He might have smelled like it later.
He had somebody in his trunk. I don't know if he was alone. He definitely had somebody in his trunk. Never mind.
Well, the guy that was repairing was handing it to me, and I remember like a strange air, like a strange, I don't think this guy realizes this is Hunter Biden standing next to him. Now I can't confirm any of that. That's all just thinking retrospectively about the fact that I was picking up my computer at the time, and it was it was months before. I still have record of this. It was months before the whole story broke and stuff, or a few weeks or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, but it might not have been him. I'm not going to say it was, but I did do a lot of anti-Zionist videos and stuff on Rehoboth Beach because I just thought it was funny, because I was like, if there's one place not to do this, it's probably here. But that's where I also would leave in all of the porta potties around the beaches. I would ride my bike in the summers, and I have a backpack just for I'd go grocery shopping with it. I just if you've ever been in that area, it's gridlock traffic during the season. You can't go anywhere.
I hate going there during the, fuck all that. No.
Yeah. So I started
Jersey. It has much better parking, and Jersey's way better beaches.
Yep.
Let's get that out of the way, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Totally agree. My mom's from Jersey, so I'm very familiar with Jersey.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I lived in Jersey for a while. Yeah. Bar A. Have you ever been to Bar A in Jersey?
No.
It's called Bar Anticipation. I was like, I think you know what you're getting into when you go there. It's the most it's the most douchey cultured bar. It's a huge whatever. That's a side tangent. But
yes,
in Rehoboth, I used to Uber in that area, and I do remember picking up a lot of Eastern European girls, and I remember dropping off 3 Eastern European girls that were probably in their teens, and I dropped them off they didn't want to go to the house. They wanted to be dropped off in a particular neighborhood, and then they walked the rest of the way. And that was literally the Biden neighborhood. And it was mildly off-putting, but I was like, whatever. That was when I was getting red-pilled about the ugliness of everything in the world. When I was really turning into an adult, when I was in my late 30s, when the veil was being lifted, when I'm a full-blown adult.
That's when puberty happens. Yes.
Yeah. Right. 30s. Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't even.
Speaking of Rehoboth, and Delaware, and movies, Blue Ruin is easily one of my favorites. I don't know if you've ever seen Blue Ruin, but that was filmed pretty much almost completely in the beginning of it, especially, was in Delaware. It's boardwalk shots and stuff like that. Have you ever seen Blue Ruin?
I have not, but I know there is a lot of hidden gems shot in Delaware, like Dead Poet Society. My grandmother my grandmother and grandfather saw Robin Williams in the alleyway in Middletown, Delaware, practicing his lines for one of the scenes shot at the Everett Theater. And this is in the 80s. And that is a great film shot at St. Andrews High School, prestigious private school over there. But yeah, there is a couple. So what is Blue Ruin? Tell me about that film.
So Blue Ruin is Jeremy Saulnier's, who did Green Room. And then he's done some other ones since those. But his first movie was called, you might be really into his first movie, because his first movie was, a friend of mine and I picked it up out of an independent film store, and it was called, what the hell is it called? Murder Party, I think it's called. It's like a low budget warehouse. Everybody's trying to kill a guy, and it's comedy and horror mixed together. And
oh yeah, I love that.
And I remember my friend and I just picked it up because it said, the hook on the advertisement little slogan on the DVD was Napoleon Dynamite something or other meets something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and that was kind of, it was good at getting at the audience that would be into that indie thing. But Blue Ruin was a movie he made many years later, and Macon Blair, who's gone on to do a bunch of stuff now, he acts in it. He's the main character, and it starts.
This is great. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's if you're an indie person and you haven't seen Blue Ruin, I would highly suggest it.
Got in the Cannes. It got in the Cannes Film Festival. That's great.
Yeah, it was. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's. I remember that the director Jeremy Saulnier said this is basically No Country for Old Men if the main character was an idiot, and that is kind of a good description of it, because it's like. It's a total chain of events where everything just unfolds, and then he gets himself into this terrible situation and has to get himself out. And there's also a nice little cameo by, I forget the actor's name, but Donkey Lips from Home Alone, the older brother, Buzz. Or no, Buzz, not Donkey Lips. Excuse me, I'm confusing my fat actors from the 90s. Donkey Lips was from Salute Your Shorts, which is on Nickelodeon. No, the actor that played Buzz, the older brother in Home Alone. He's a good actor. I think he just had controversial things.
Devin Rattray.
Did he just have controversial things happen to him in the news?
No, allegations of domestic violence. That was like 3 years ago.
All right, he's fine. Domestic violence, that goes anywhere.
No, rape. So that's a naughty one.
Yeah, there you go.
Whenever I see anything in a film, I assume anybody that is, let's say, there's a certain echelon you pass. I assume there is some sort of alchemy that went into your success in any format. Or you have been corrupted by others who practice alchemy in some format. Whenever I see anybody out there, so whenever I hear an actor does something, it's not that I don't feel bad about what they've done, and I'm like, oh my god, that sucks. I don't feel bad about it. I didn't do anything. But you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. I'm just like, oh, I mean, like they're a fucking actor. Like, okay.
Yeah, dude.
Terrible profession.
Have you worked? Yeah, if you've worked in theater or grown up around theater kids or just artists, like artists communities, you're gonna have some wacky thinkers. You're gonna have some wacky thinkers and some strange behavior. It's just, it is what it is. I'm always like, oh, that actor did something weird. Great. I wish I didn't know that. I'd rather just see their work and move on with my life.
Yes. No. Yeah. Like when you're working with somebody and like you hear shit about somebody, it's like, hey, like let's get the fucking job done, and then maybe I can tweet about it later. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me keep that in my back pocket when I need to promote myself through your failure. That's what I think.
That's exactly right. No. Yeah. Like when I hear something, I'm just like, huh. Also, again, court cases, that's like the one thing you can use to critique somebody. If there's no like legal basis for shit, then it's like, no, why not? Unless they're like fucking obvious shit, like, somebody at the upper echelon of society. But if it's like some small mid-tier actor, that's a whole thing. So again, let's go back to these hooker stories.
Sure.
A friend of mine, but now, every story that you got, I could tell one too.
Hey, I was talking about strippers or exotic dancers.
No, not that. I mean the hookers, the suspected Eastern European women.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I got one for you. Family member, let's just say, went to the Wilmington YMCA, and they saw the mayor, current mayor but former governor John Carney work out. They said hello to each other, and then there is a back entrance by the men's locker room, right? And he went out the back entrance into a limo with a bunch of hookers that were not his women, that were not his wife or daughter. And this person Google verified if any of these women he saw in the limo were his family members. And they weren't, and they were all looking like hoes. And that's one thing I saw. I got even more stuff. I got a family member who worked for, even in the same family, the Carney family restaurant. I don't know what restaurant it was, but it was a bar. This family member worked for them at a bar, and the people that run it that were in the Carney family would make the waitresses have sex for extra money and abuse them. Just simple naughty stuff like that. That warrants a RICO. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have so much fun stuff about Delaware, and that's where we're going back and forth today.
It's such an interesting place, Delaware. It's weird. It's like a desert with lush green grass everywhere because there's a lot of space. Like when you get out into the rural areas, there's a lot of space between neighbors, and you just can't help but think, what's going on down that road? That
he's getting fucking beheaded, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I love it. It's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful state, and I'm glad I grew up there. I'm glad I'm in Philadelphia now, but I think that there's so many parts that are beautiful, like the C&D Canal, or the Chesapeake, Chesapeake City, or like Delaware City, historic Newcastle, beautiful areas. I hate that this yes, it is boring. Yes, that is true, but that doesn't mean it's not beautiful.
Right.
It is a beautiful state, and there is some fun stuff to do. Lum's Pond, White Clay Creek. You could.
I'm thinking of like certain things that's not Delaware, but it's like basically Delaware, like going down to Assateague Island or Berlin, Maryland, which are right over the border, which are really beautiful.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly.
Really beautiful places. Actually, I used to drive around Ocean City, Maryland, thinking, you could really shoot Miami backstreet out. Like you could shoot this for Miami if you just artificially threw in some palm trees every once in a while, and in your shots. Because I was like, I'd been long thinking about there's no good car chase movies anymore, and I was trying to come up with something, and I was like, it should probably take place in Miami. And then just because there's always car chases. Anytime you see helicopter footage, it's Florida man on the highway, and it's usually somewhere near Miami. But Ocean City, Assateague, Berlin, I really liked those areas. A lot
of good car chases that could be shot in like Wildwood area. In Jersey. Like there's so many good roads in Jersey and weird structures. I just think South Jersey is a beautiful area for just to visit. There's so much great stuff there.
I went to a drug church show somewhere on the coast of southern Jersey. I don't remember the town it was in, but it was really cool. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. But it was similar to like, the strip in Delaware where you're driving down Route 1, and then if you're looking at like a GPS, all of a sudden it's just water on both sides of you for miles and miles and miles. When you get into like like where the bridge is, the Indian Neck Bridge, like down in that area, north of Bethany, south of Rehometh.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Is it like kind of near like Cape Henlopen or something like before that?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of fun stories about like my brother was a lifeguard in Dewey lifeguard. That's where
Dewey lifeguard, dude. If I could go back, I probably would have spent some time being a lifeguard in Dewey just because it was such a shit show. I did actually live in Lewis next door to, and I cleaned his windows. I lived next door to Admiral Dewey's like great grandson, something like that. But he was just sitting on nothing but money. He and his wife he and his daughter were flipping houses, and she lived in Martha's Vineyard. So I was like, oh, great. A lot of money in Delaware. It's weird. It doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of people with money in the Delaware area. DC people vacation there, which is why I started putting anti-Zionist flyers up in all the porta potties and stuff. Just didn't fuck with everybody.
Yes.
That was like 5-6 years ago. That was probably 2017, 2018 is when I was doing that. So I was like, now here it's the topic of conversation all the time with DC people, and I'm like, ooh, did I have anything to do with that? I just remember.
When I think about all this like movement, I feel like everybody's fucking known it, but they just like haven't.
Oh yeah.
Their social stigmas haven't been removed until now.
A friend of mine who grew up outside of Baltimore, I went and visited him when I was living in Delaware, and there was this dude. I won't use his name, but he's one of those dudes that never left the ghetto. Like the ghetto formed. He's basically Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino, where he just was like, "I'm not leaving. This is where I've always lived." And then all the the ghetto just forms around him, and he just has nothing but weapons to protect himself and his family. But he knew everything that we were coming to realize as we were like, getting red pilled in this massive just like psyop war. We were just like consuming all this stuff, and he was like, "Oh, let me tell you about the 12 tribes of Israel and all this stuff." And I was like, "What the hell? Who the hell is this guy?" And he was just one of those dudes. He was just very. He knew how to find the truth in anybody. He was hysterical, huge racist. I mean, how could he not be, being a white guy in Baltimore and not be a racist?
I'm not a racist, but I do live in North Philly, and I get a little. Life is a little scarier than
I've driven
in Delaware.
I have gotten off the highway in North Philly to save some time to get away from traffic, and I was driving through, and I was like, "Damn."
Yes, that's where I go to school.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. Like I would implore everybody watching that is, I would say, you know how they say in sexuality terms, they're bi-curious. That I would say, if you are truth curious,
or as I like to call them, greedy.
Or that, yes.
That's just a personal joke that used to go around with my gay friends. Like bisexual, or as I like to call them, greedy.
Yes. So, if you are truth curious, if you're curious about the truth, and you don't know where to start, this is weird. This is gonna sound weird, but find a friend that's maybe a little 5 years older than you, right? That will tell you the weird shit to look into. That will tell you where to look. Maybe that's watch a podcast and they tell you on there. Where do you get started? That's the thing. There's these entry level points that are the tip of the iceberg, but they will always remain the tip of the iceberg because the entry level points into this world are controlled opposition. And I don't care. Whenever I see controlled opposition, I'm just like, cool, I'll be controlled opposition. I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? But there is these sectors of the internet that are just fascinating that you can find when you meet the right people. For me, when I met Chris Velrath, filmmaker, ANCAP, libertarian type guy, I'm in those circles. I have my own definition of what I am, but I'm in those circles vehemently, and I'm very fascinated with Austrian economics. I'm meeting this dude, and I'm fucking like 19, and he's telling me about Jeff Rentz and Mark Passio. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what is this? What is this like natural law shit? What the fuck are you talking about?
I think that was about I think it was like 2014, 2015. I just got into Chicago School of Economics, started reading London School, got into Frankfurt School, Austrian School. Like
Frankfurt School turns me into a maniac whenever I hear about the history of that, because I'm seeing it visibly, first person point of view, the effects of the Frankfurt School.
Yeah.
Anyways,
there is, I think, actually, the biggest, most expensive anti-Hollywood meme that I've ever seen was Hail Caesar from the Coen brothers, which there's literally a scene. They literally kidnap George Clooney's character, who is playing a Roman who comes to realize Christ. That's definitely check it out, but watch it with a very astute, like, this is a meme for the upper echelon of people. You know what I mean? Like, this is for the very wealthy people that know what they're doing, because they basically end the movie by, instead of the studio head played by, what's his name there, Josh Brolin. In the movie, he's fighting basically communists that have, the Jewish communists that are in the Writers Guild that have kidnapped George Clooney's character, and they have a meeting with him, and they talk to him about economics and all the history of economics, and he's like, He's being the stupid handsome guy, which is what the Coen brothers always cast him as the handsome idiot. If you ever pay attention to when the Coen brothers,
after reading, yes,
yeah,
I know what you mean, and I love it.
He's the handsome idiot, and he plays it beautifully in those movies. And in that movie, there's even a part where there's a guy hanging out with all the communists that have kidnapped him, and they're sitting there. And there's a guy that's a photographer, and he's just smiling and taking pictures of the Hollywood actor meeting with all these communists in this private meeting. And every time it's an old school camera, so the flash bulbs are one use, and then it pops them out, and it literally sounds like bullets hitting the bullet casings hitting the floor, like the sound effects and stuff. So when you take that and you look at, that's how everybody gains leverage on everybody, is they take pictures of them that are compromising because they know you'll never escape the court of public opinion when we shove this picture in front of the the plebs, and they are going to want to lynch you. You know what I mean? And the way they end that movie is the Catholic studio head does not take a job with Lockheed Martin. He stays as the studio head and continues to run Hollywood. And it ends on this wonderful upbeat note where they basically suggest that they wish Hollywood was still run by Catholics. And coming from the Coen brothers, that was kind of a bold statement, I thought. And they only did the Ballad of Buster Scruggs after that, which was like a Death of the Western kind of meme. And then they split up and they been doing different movies ever since, which that's just a personal theory, but
how society would have changed.
It would be vastly different.
I hate, this idea, would it be better, would it be not? I don't know, because at this current state, it kind of sucks when your propaganda that you watch is so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you see the movies of the 90s and it's like
I was watching Indiana Jones. I'm like, damn, take that, you Nazis. And then I was like, wait, this is stupid.
Like this
makes sense. He's a murderer. If there's one thing that I think that I'd like to see more of, it's movies that glorify bank robbers. I don't think that anybody out there would have any problem with a movie where people are robbing banks again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like or
old school
I know exactly. Yeah,
old school Warner Brothers. It was all about the villains, or not the villains, but the gangsters were the heroes in a lot of those movies.
I think that my favorite films ever released are Warner Brothers films. I am a fan of them, and I'll always defend them. I don't know. Now that I'm just thinking about it, and I'm just hearing those words in relation to bank robbery films, I know exactly what you're talking about. And oh my God, have you ever on the propaganda thing? Yeah. What? Yeah.
No, go ahead. You were saying on the propaganda thing.
I was just saying, it kind of sucks when you see a tribe controlling everything, and it's just so good. And honestly, I don't care who controls what anymore. I think everybody have their own voice, say what they need to say, but know that everything entertainment is always a grassroots thing. Even if it's funded by corporations, there is always a room for grassroots entertainment. Yes. Find what small creators you like and back them. That's all I'll say there. Yeah. That's what to do.
100%. I have I don't think I necessarily coined this phrase, but I want farm to table art. You know what I mean? I don't want
exactly right.
Anything else. I don't want anything else but that. Like the movies that I genuinely now will take the time to watch are usually ones that are either new directors, like first-time directors. If they can hook me with that first one, I'm all about a second one. Do you know what I mean? I'm all about it.
Jake Corrales. Oh, geez. Where did that go?
Yes. No.
I'm also
you seem like a guy, but based on where you grew up, did you watch any John Waters when you were growing up? John Waters.
What is John Waters?
John Waters did like Hairspray. He's a gay. He's like one of those old school gays. It's like wearing bow ties and stuff all the time, and he's very into like kitschy type of aesthetics, like stuff that's really just peculiar and entertaining. Jay from RLM loves John Waters movies. He watches all John Waters movies. They're bizarre.
Hairspray, here we go.
Hairspray is more normie mainstream. I would look for what's the one with the chick in the chick that's in the adult woman in a crib. Search that. John Waters, adult woman in a crib movie. I forget which one that
sounds like a Sabrina Carpenter song or something. All right. John Waters, adult woman in a crib. Female Trouble. Is that it?
That's probably it. I think that one's it. But that actress, she's in a bunch of his movies. I think she's in a couple of his movies. Also, there's he does a lot of stuff with drag queens and
is it Divine?
Divine. It might be Divine actually.
Mary Vivian Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, but I feel he grew up in Baltimore, so I feel like his sensibilities are kind of hilarious.
I have a deep love for people from Baltimore. I'll tell you that right now. Everything about it. I made films with people in Baltimore. I've shot films and worked on them in Baltimore. Yeah, I love everything about that city. I love the pier with the water and the everything's great there.
Yeah, the Baltimore is one of those. It's another one of those towns where it's like Newark, New Jersey, where you drive through it and you're like, oh, I bet this was awesome, even more awesome in its heyday. You know what I mean? Like you can still see the awesomeness without necessarily. Other people.
I never want to live there. Yes, exactly.
This is grimy. I don't want to live here, but yeah,
there's something there to enjoy, and it probably was nice at certain points when certain things weren't happening, when certain groups of people, you know what I mean?
When culture was a little bit less divided by race, and it was just successful culture versus everyone else. You know what I mean? Like,
how dare you support the hegemony?
Yeah,
how dare you support Americana? How dare you acknowledge that borders exist? How dare you?
Oh, but then you learn more about this stuff and you realize, oh, it's been degrading way longer than we've been aware of it, and you realize really quickly like it was still degrading even when it was portrayed as great, because all that stuff was. People are always like taking these old movies from the 50s and 60s and be like, oh man, America used to look like this. And I was like, that was still an exaggerated artistic representation. Me personally, you want to watch real American cinema? I watch Buster Keaton movies, which are I think they're awesome and hilarious because you can yell at the screen the whole time. Like I'm a big believer that cinema, when it was silent cinema, you could have some drunk guy on a piano banging along with the images, and everybody was just hollering at the screen, but you didn't miss anything because it was all, you just read it or you could watch it. So to me, once dialogue and audio came into it, then it was way more demanding of your senses, because now it was like not just your eyes, but your ears and your focus has to be on that screen. And then I think it took a while for people to really figure out how to balance that. You know what I mean? Like how to have, I think that's why First Blood is such a great movie. You've seen First Blood, right? The first Rambo. Yeah. First Rambo. That movie, when you watch it, you realize if you were to turn the sound off, you know exactly what's happening. It's very good. But action movies always have nice long sections where there's loud noises and music to entertain you, and you could be sitting there and going, hey, what are they gonna blah, blah, blah. You could be talking to people and nobody gets upset. Like, I think that sensibility of how the audience interacts with the movie is lost now, because now it's like what I call the audience of one. It's one person watching, on their phone usually, or on their PC at home. Like, that's where all of us film nerds now reside, is on the internet. So it's like it's hard to get those normie audiences. Normie audiences are into TikTok. They all have TikTok brain now, you know?
Well, geez, I could go into that, but you know, I've asked a filmmaker who's really prominent and going up in the game, so to speak, younger filmmaker. And he told me he got to start basically doing TikToks and shorts and coming up. He helped come up with the idea of a 15-second film. You seen that?
Oh no, I'm thinking of 5-second films. They were back on Vine back in the day. I don't know if you remember Vine.
Yeah, I was on Vine, but this dude came up with the idea of like a 15-second film. And he essentially, him and like this girl, they go up to somebody and they're like, "Hey, do you want to a random person?" And they're like, "Hey, do you want to direct a film? We have a audio boom mics, camera, actors. We just need an idea, and you want to do it." And they do it. They film the 15-second film, and it's all this small little story put into 60 seconds. And it's blown up, and he figured it out. So he does this, and he also does his long-form short films. That's the name of the game now. There is nothing but that right now. That's why for these podcasts, I put out a bunch of fucking clips, and I am always online doing something at the same time as this. Right after this, I'm going to finish the next script of my, next short film, or I'm going to plan another documentary, but I'm also doing this other online form content. There is a coexistence between online and, fucking old classical media that is the only thing that can exist if you want a future in this. There is no, maybe you can get to a certain point where you can be reclusive and be this like, I'm like how Playboi Carti drops his music where it's like one album every 4 years and he doesn't post anything in those 4 years, but that doesn't really exist anymore. No, it doesn't.
It's if you're gonna, I do think like there's a lot of people that they almost burn out too fast because they do there's a weird balance where it's like if you're constantly releasing stuff, it's like I personally think like my creative energy would be exhausted after a while and I just wouldn't want to be doing any of that, like I think that like you were saying, like this longer form content, longer short films, as you said, I think there's something more about something that has been sat on and thought about and mulled over and like comes like you're a singular visionary, you know what I mean? Like you're going to sit there and punch keys but you plan to direct it. So you're probably thinking as you get more and more production, anybody would, you start recognizing problems you might run into in the production phase or funding phase while you're writing. Thinking about it, you know what I mean? Like, for example, I'm working on a script right now that I know there's a robot character that has to go repair itself. And I was like, all right, I'm going to need a CG artist to do that. I'm going to shoot at lockdown. Like this is me writing the script, but thinking my way through the logistics of doing the effects shot because I have a background in After Effects and compositing and coloring and stuff. So I'm like, well, I know how to do all that stuff. And if I'm going to have to do it or fund it, then I'm going to try to keep it in my realm of possibility. You know what I mean? Like I can bring in somebody much better than me later and they can dress it up and take it to a different level, which is always the best way to do it. That's always how I've done it. You as a filmmaker, I think we have to start, if you're going to be directing, you're the conductor of you play the orchestra. Other people play the oboe and the violin and the timpani, but if you're the director, you play the orchestra, which means you're conducting. Yeah.
Exactly right. That's
yeah. And I think that it takes a while to get there, but it's fun to watch people get there. It's weird. It's like stand up. Everybody bombs when you go up. Everyone at some point, even the best. And the first time you go up, you'll either have a dumb stroke of luck and everyone will love you because you're new, or you'll do what I did and you'll bomb, you'll walk off stage and your friends who came to see you will be like, I don't think you should keep doing this. and that for me I go, fuck you. I'm going to keep doing this. And then I did eventually start getting paid to do stand-up. And I was like, hell yeah, now let's move on. But that I only did it just to grease the wheels of filmmaking, because I think that I think filmmakers really have to be really well-rounded in all the art forms, because filmmaking, as I heard someone say, it's not an art form. It's a combination of every art form man has created. And you get to decide, like I'm looking at the posters on your wall right now. When you develop a character, like what kind of music do they listen to? What posters are on their wall? All that stuff will come into question. But if you write the movie well and you cast well, you bring in a art director that comes in and makes those decisions, and then you just go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You know what I mean? Oh no, let's put that one over here, blah, blah, blah. That's, to me, filmmaking right now has turned into, like you were saying, it's like these people think it's going to be this recluse type life where you just
no.
You
are the maestro of showing an entire life on screen in certain ways possible that would just encapsulate themes, story, love, comedy, action, anything. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not just a guy who makes a story, edits it together. You are combining every single art form ever. That's why when film or video is done correctly, it can be the best art form ever, in my opinion, in this day and age, and the way I see things. But there is other art forms that can be just as good as a film on their own. I'm talking about certain albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
When films can combine everything so properly together, it can be the best art form in that moment, when it comes out, when it's relevant, when it makes sense.
What comes to mind to you as who's somebody that isn't well known that comes to mind where you're like, oh, now that's somebody who really, that's a maestro. You know what I mean? That's a guy who knows his whole process. Like, does anybody come to mind? I feel bad asking that, because I'm trying to think of it too now as I ask it, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe trying to think.
I would say, let me think. That is a great question. At the top of my head, I thought Y Tu Mamá También by Alfonso Cuarón. That film speaks to me in such a way. It's about, are you familiar with this film?
I have seen it a couple of times. I'm not going to lie.
Do you know the ending when the friend they don't see each other again at the end of the film?
Yeah, they don't. After they've had their sexual encounter with her, I think they stop hanging out after that, right?
They have one friendship dinner thingy, and then they just leave.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a farewell dinner,
we're at a diner. Anyways, that happened to me in real life, not the sexual part. Me and my homies don't hook up. We just homies. But if you're a homie, let me know. Anyways, no, I have a friend from high school that I don't speak to at all, and we didn't even argue. He heard one thing, one personal struggle I went through, addiction, and
that was
that was it. And I was involved in a crime anyways. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that, but
are you gonna make a movie about that? That sounds like a movie, right?
Maybe
there.
I don't know. What happened? About what?
About being a giver. I feel like you know what? Let me say this. When you watch Blue Ruin, if you watch Blue Ruin, because you should, think about Blue Ruin and its relationship to No Country for Old Men, and then take Drive and do the same thing. Make a version of Drive that's indie, that is about a real low level wannabe getaway driver.
Let's dude, don't even.
Or Baby Driver to a lesser extent.
I know what you're talking about. I would say that film hits the soul, because you don't know who you hang out with. I have I have framed pictures in my room right now. Some of those friends not even on speaking terms, ever. They will never speak again.
I have many people like that in my life. So,
and that film shows it. That film shows that you can spend every single day with one person, and you will never hear from them again. Just because of one thing, it doesn't matter, and that thing may be fully justified. Who does? But that film shows that in such a great way. And another inspiring film that I would say anybody, if you are feeling down and out, watch Joe Dirt. Life is a garden. Dig it, make it work for you. Keep on keeping on.
Oh, damn!
That film is about a orphan whose parents, he got lost from his parents at the Grand Canyon, and David Spade's character must figure out.
Calls you Joe Dirt.
Yes, yeah. Must figure out where is my parents, and that's the entire film is him finding his parents, and he realizes that the real Joe Dirt was the friends we made along the way, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's such a great film, and it's so positive, and there's like so many good lines, like when Kid Rock is like when his character is like
we're trying to read.
So he's like what's going on, Joe Dirt, and he's like, or he says, he offers something to Joe Dirt, like, you want to do something, blah, and Joe Dirt's like, nah, I'm cool. And then
no, you're not.
No, you're not, Dirt. And then it's
his performance in that really, I think that was the first time I saw Kid Rock acting, and I was like, holy shit, he was really hilarious. All of my friends were like, wow, Kid Rock can act. That was really good.
Why don't you practice spitting out teeth? Because I'm going
I love the way he runs away.
God.
When he runs away crying, and he's making fun of him as he's running away. The way David Spade is running is just too fucking funny.
Why don't you get a Whamburger and some French fries?
Right.
Yo, one. Oh, that's so good. Or he's like,
all right, Dirt? Yeah, I'm cool.
No,
you're not. Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Oh, there's so many good moments. And then fucking what the fuck is his name? Dude, the Xander Kelly dude, the comedian. Dennis, is that Dennis Miller? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. Oh my god. And then you talking to me? Not the fucking Christopher Walken character, and he's like,
yes.
Does your mother sew? That was fucking awesome.
I just remember him being rolled out of pretending to be dead and then getting an erection when he starts talking. I can't remember the scenario or what he says, but I gotta watch that again. I haven't seen that movie in ages. Oh
my god, there's so many
very quotable
great moments in that film. Yeah. I could talk. We should just do a whole episode about that.
The genius of Joe Dirt.
No, and he's like, where you from? And he's like, New York. I mean, Kansas. It's just like it's just such a great. Oh my god, I could. Or remember, he likes to see homos naked, and he's like, no, home the way you make it. You like to see homos naked?
Like to see homos naked?
Oh my god,
home the way you make it.
That's that great crossover character. He was in Waterboy.
Mm-hmm.
The Cajun man.
That Cajun accent. I always get cracked up when people do the Cajun accent. What?
I know somebody who literally spoke French. Fucking A, dude. My fucking grammar. He spoke French and had like a French accent, and he spoke English too, but he literally sounded like a dude from France. But he was like, nah, I'm from New Orleans, bro. And I was like, what? You literally do not sound American. But
I was working at a ranch recently, and some guy asked me if I was from Louisiana or anything, because I pronounced something. I guess I pronounced something that sounded to his ear because he was from that area. He was from the Bayou, and I was like, no, but I did work with a dude for like 2 years at a Jersey Mike's who was from Louisiana, and he did. And I was like, I might have picked up some pronunciation from him. I don't know. But I was like, that's the only person I've ever spent any time around from Louisiana on a long Brendan or whatever his name was. You know, he was just it was in Connecticut of all places. And I was like, what the heck are you doing here? But whatever. You know, he was from the Bayou, and I forget what word it was, but it was just something I said that he was like, this dude, this cowboy was just like, you Cajuns?
Tim Sabers born in the Bayou.
Born in the Bayou.
Was he born in the Bayou? Yeah. Well, let's go back.
I do like a lot of blues music that comes from Bayou guys. I think there's a lot of blues from that area that I really like.
Old fiddle jacket with a rubber band playing the first ever rock song.
I'm thinking of Junior Kimbrough was like down those ways, I believe, if I remember.
The accent's coming out. Is there a secret you're not telling us? Are you secretly from the Bayou? So more Delaware stories. Let's get into more Delaware stories. You charge one up, but I can go at one right now. Let's just say a third party political candidate.
Okay.
In Delaware was running for office, and there was a debate between all of these people running for office.
Mm-hmm.
And in this debate, this person was in the back room before they were announcing the debate. Here's the people that are debating for this, position in government that they're running in office for. Woo. So the Democrat and Republican candidate are on the backstage talking, very nice. And then the other third-party candidate is talking to the main third-party candidate that I'm talking about, said, watch how they act like when they're on stage. And they go on stage and they're screaming at each other. They're throwing zingers at each other left and right. Mm-hmm. And then another thing happened during this debate. My friend who told me this went up to one of the Delaware, I think he was representative at the time, and asked him, why can't you make pharmacy ads illegal? And he was like, oh, they just post on the news sites that I'm a pedophile. And all the news sites are owned by the same people that own the pharmacy sites. So I couldn't do that because they'd all just call me a pedophile. That would be not that like, and I was like, I was hearing this from somebody and I was like, oh my God.
That brings
the layers go deep here.
That brings two things to mind. I was going to tell you an Ubering Rehometh story, but I'm going to throw this one out there too. Is I don't remember the name of it, but there is a pharmaceutical factory of some sort building in Lewis, and it's right by the canal and right by the where the Freemason Lodge is and the first synagogue in Lewis. And it's also right by the Battery, which has underground tunnels, because nobody wants to talk about underground tunnels. And I believe a part of that Battery, that fort there, is named for Biden as well. It's just, Delaware is it's so forgotten, Delaware is like, it's like they want people to think there's nothing there, because they don't want more people moving in.
What's Delaware? Delaware County in Philly? Near Philly? What's Delaware? What state's that?
Yeah,
what are you even talking about?
I've driven
Delaware County next to Philly
for 20 minutes. The north little tip when I'm going to DC. You know what I mean? Like that's all that. And people think it's like you blink and you miss it, and it's like there's a reason. It's a very strategic piece of land too. When you look at it from the standpoint of like, if you ever wanted to really control what's coming in and out, it's like things come into Ocean City, Maryland, then they go up Route 1 to Philly. I think that's where the human trafficking Grotto Pizza line is. If you ever want to, do you ever eat at Grotto Pizza?
I do like Grotto Pizza. So
but
I work in a building.
You know what they're famous for, right? You know what they're famous for?
Traffic people.
Well, it's called Grotto, and the other is they're famous for swirling their sauce in a spiral, which if you've seen the FBI documents. The other thing I'll say about Delaware is
Oh my God,
I worked
dude.
for two brothers who were totally they were running a silk screening shop, which is no longer a business, which is why I feel comfortable talking about this. But the two of them were big into crypto. I think they lost a lot, so they had to shut down and that particular company. But their dad, like, you know, runs all kind of companies. And they were telling me that in Rehoboth, the headquarters, which has changed, once all the you know, pizza swirl shit started coming out on the news and stuff, a bunch of them started closing down. And they said the hottest chicks, because every summer they'd get these Eastern European exchange students imports. He said the hottest chicks growing up all lived in an apartment like a series of apartments that were above the main Grotto Pizza in downtown Delaware. And when I was Ubering in that area, there was midget tossing that I picked people up at. That was going on in the winter. Like the off season of Delaware, I think is so strange and peculiar, but I did love driving around and meeting people. One story I have from Ubering, I remember I picked up these girls. I think there was 3 of them, like the early 20s, mid 20s. I can tell they had just had a kerfuffle, as I've never used that word before, but they had a kerfuffle in a bar. And I could overhear them, what they were saying, because normally I don't really talk to the passengers unless they engage me too much. I'm usually like, hey, how you doing? And I just, start driving. But all of a sudden, one of them goes, I could hear what had happened was probably someone, I picked them up from around the corner from a karaoke spot that was very popular on the weekends in the off season. And they were like, they were trying to make sense of what just happened. And then I heard the word, can I say on here? I heard one of them say, and I'm like, I'm kind of laughing in my head because I already know where this is going. I was like, somebody picked a song and they sang and somebody threw them out or like and that what happened is the huge black dude bouncer was trying to calm down this other chick that was not with these 3 girls, who was screaming about the fact that they weren't allowed to say that word, and you can't say that word. And the giant black bouncer was like, calm down. It's not a big deal. It's karaoke. Like, he was just trying to keep the peace. And these girls, that's what I gather from the whole thing. And then, like, as the conversation is going on behind me, and they're like, can we ask you a question? And I go, lay it on. And they just started laughing hysterically because I was like, I don't care, dude. I don't care. Like, if somebody is giving you shit, that's what you focus on, not the words they're using. It's the attitude. It's just that they're giving you shit. It's like, if someone's giving you shit, fine, walk away. And I was like, whatever. Those girls seemed like my at that moment. But it was
it's all about the time and place.
I was like,
it does not matter what you say. The time and place, the context, the attitude matters in those situations. Now, on the tunnel thing, let's get back to that.
Yeah.
I work in Wilmington, Delaware, part-time at a theater in the Namors building next to the Hotel DuPont.
I know.
And
I know the hotel.
Yes, and I have to take the trash down by the trash chutes. And in the basement of the building is literally a map that tells you how to get from each building to each building. And there's signs. It's like, oh, you want to go to the DuPont building? Oh, you want to go to this building? Oh, you want to go to this building? It's literally like all the buildings in Wilmington are connected by tunnels.
Yeah.
Underground each building. There's various different reasons for them. Like, Biden used them when he did speeches at this one, theater I work at, or events and everything. But that shit exists, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I've heard the echoes. it each city definitely has that shit. That's just a fact.
Oh yeah.
Of the world and life and how you live at.
Yep.
It exists. It's I don't know what could those tunnels be used for. I'm sure it's fine and perfect. I'm sure it's for not nefarious. I'm sure it's for benevolent purposes.
That's right. I mean, I know as a kid, whenever you're building a fort or tunnels, you usually the first thing you put up is a sign that says "keep out," or you have like a secret knock. Even when you're a kid, that's just like a that no one build. What I'm saying is no one builds tunnels because they're doing stuff that's really cool that they would do in the sunlight in front of everybody. You know, they're building
flowers in them.
That's right. It's all just
waiting for anybody that stumbles upon them.
A beautiful underground garden. Yes, that's what it was for.
The garden, yes.
We were transporting Bibles from place to place. What?
That's exactly right. Yeah, no. Talmuds. Anyways, well, thank you for coming on the show, Tim Stabers. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah.
We had to do another episode another time.
Anytime you want to talk, dude, I'm down. Absolutely.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So everybody go check out his work. He does so many things. How could you describe yourself and how could you direct people to your content?
I'll say this for right now, I am working on a new script, but if you want to see anything that I've done, if you throw my name into a search engine, I've been stupidly, I guess, using my own real name for everything I've ever done. So you can find plenty and you can stay busy. But one of the things I've realized, and I think anybody should realize this, is now in the internet, you should build up a content, what I like to call a library of content. If you're a creator, create as much as you can over the years. Then when you really want to break out, take everything that you've done and then start from the beginning and kind of basically make an advertisement, a several month plan of advertisements for yourself and your work, where you're just posting all of your stuff that people probably haven't even seen because they probably just watch your social media and they just are into the now. So yeah. I heard recently, whatever you want to say about Lil Dicky as a rapper or an artist, I will say this: he's a pretty brilliant business guy. And I remember when he was blowing up, when he was living in San Francisco, because he's, I think, from Philly originally. Yep. And I don't follow him anymore, but when I went and saw him when he was touring on his what do they call it? His mixtape, and not even an album yet. And one of the things I heard him say was he spent about 2 years doing all his music and doing all his music videos. Just was working and then funding all that stuff, I think with bar mitzvah money, of course. And he said, so what I did was I started releasing everything. So I had stuff to release really good stuff to release once a week for 5 months. And that's how he made himself blow up. So he majored in marketing and business and finance and stuff. So he really knows the ins and outs of, that whole system. I'm not going to get into the fact that he also probably was promoted for other reasons and became popular because he's, but he is a talented lyricist. You can't get over the fact that his lyrics are genuinely funny. I think they're genuinely funny. I don't know. What do you think of Lil Dicky? You hate him? I know some people that actually despise him. And I was like, man, I understand that.
I love everything he does. I love his TV show. I love the way he does it. Yeah. Do we acknowledge privilege and supremacy in certain aspects of certain people? Yes, we do. But does the content and character ultimately matter first? Yes, it does.
I am right there with you. I just reposted a clip of Orson Welles doing the discussion. He was doing some press conference, I guess, somewhere, and somebody was asking something about an Elia Kazan. They had a question about Elia Kazan, who totally sold out people during the Red Scare and continued to work himself in New York City while he sold out other people to McCarthy. And Orson Welles is saying, I don't even want to discuss the guy because he did those things. And then he goes, because he's a true gentleman, he goes, but I will say this, he is a very good director. So like that kind of sentiment is what I like in people. When people can, like you just exemplified, if you can separate the artist from the art and just look at what's created, you know, like if I found out Frank Lloyd Wright wore dresses to get off, I'd be like, I don't care. His buildings are amazing. Like what the heck do I care about what he did? What he did
yeah, that's why I just talked about. I just talked about low res. I was like, all the commie hot art bitches love Vincent Gallo.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, yo, like I love that. That's the word I love to live in. But anyways, everybody go check out Tim Stavers' stuff and all his projects he's doing. We also have more discussions with him in the Mass State Lottery behind the scenes documentary that will be coming out soon. Shout out to Forgotten Genres. And again, thank you for coming on the show. Everybody be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and go on Spotify and subscribe to the Blue Your Soul podcast. Thank you for listening and watching this episode, and peace out.